Let's be honest, nobody enjoys paperwork, especially when it comes to FICA compliance. And believe me, I understand. It just feels like a hassle. But FICA isn't just bureaucratic red tape with the sole purpose of making our lives difficult. It's actually there to protect both you and me and help to keep our country safe. Just bear with me. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why FICA is important, how it works, and then also what you need to know as a buyer or as a seller to make the process as smooth as possible. I'm Vorster from eXp Realty in South Africa, and together with my wife Lydia, we've been real estate agents in Cape Town's northern suburbs since 2005. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more property tips and info. Just before we start, this is not a comprehensive explanation of the whole FICA Act, but rather just an overview from a real estate perspective to help buyers and sellers understand the key points involved in property transactions and then how it affects them. So what exactly is FICA? FICA, or the Financial Intelligence Centre Act, is a South African law designed to combat money laundering, terrorism financing and other financial crimes. So as property practitioners, we are required by law to collect and verify certain documents and information from buyers and sellers to help ensure that funds come from legitimate sources. FICA compliance not only protects you and me as individuals, but it's also a critical part of ensuring that our country as a whole remains safe from illegal activities that could threaten our economy and security. By complying with FICA, we are actually contributing to keeping the property market and South Africa as a whole free from criminal influence. When we look at it specifically from a property transactions point of view, FICA compliance helps to prevent financial crimes by helping to prevent illegal money entering the property market, thereby also protecting all parties from unknowingly being involved in criminal activities. It also helps to enhance overall national security by preventing criminals from using property transactions to hide or move illicit money, which is known as money laundering. And it also helps to protect you and me by ensuring that property transactions are clean so that we can avoid potentially expensive and time-consuming legal issues down the line. So what documents will you need to provide us when buying or selling property? We need to identify and verify the identity of all clients before entering into a business relationship. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, here's what you're going to need to provide to us. For all individuals, we are going to need proof of identity, so a copy of your ID or your passport, and of course if you have the newer ID card, we do need copies of both the front and the back of the card. Then we need a proof of address, so a recent utility bill, bank statement, or any other acceptable document no older than 3 months. We also need your income tax number, which is found on your SARS correspondence or your tax return. And of course, if you're married in community of property, we're also going to need all this for your spouse as well. Then for companies, we need to collect quite a bit more, such as, for instance, the company's certificate of incorporation and the shareholder certificate, then also a resolution stating who may actually transact on behalf of the company. We're also going to need a proof of address for the company, and then correspondence from the South African Revenue Service, or SARS, that shows the company's income tax number. Plus, for all directors of the company, as well as any shareholders with a 25% or more shareholding, we are also going to need all necessary FICA documents for each of them in their personal capacity. Then for trusts, we're going to need a copy of the trust deed, copy of letters of authority from the Master of the High Court, then a resolution stating who may transact on behalf of the trust, proof of address for the trust, and also correspondence from South African Revenue Service that shows the trust's income tax number. Plus, again, for all the trustees and beneficiaries of the trust, we are also going to need all necessary FICA documents for each of them in their personal capacity. Then what about deceased estates? When we're handling property for a deceased estate, we will need a copy of the death certificate and of the deceased's ID. And then from the executive of the estate, we're going to need their letter of executorship, which is issued by the Master of the High Court, and also a copy of the executor's ID and the executor's proof of address and their income tax number. So now you may ask, what about marriage certificates and antenuptial contracts and other documents that we keep requesting relentlessly from our clients? Well, when applicable, we need these documents to confirm whether a person is actually legally entitled to sign all the necessary documents on their own, or whether a spouse is actually required by law to sign documents or to give consent. For example, if you are married in community of property, legally you are not allowed to transact without your spouse's consent. If you do, that could render any such agreement null and void. So, if applicable, we will require marriage certificates, antenuptial contracts, divorce orders, and any other relevant documentation. We also often get asked, why do I need to provide any of these documents again? In other words, why we need all these documents again if you've possibly already given them to the transferring attorneys, or the other way around? The reason for this is that FICA laws require each accountable institution to verify your identity separately. Accountable institutions in property transactions are property practitioners like ourselves, and then also banks, conveyancers, bond originators, and so on. So by requiring each accountable institution to comply with FICA requirements on their own, it helps to make double sure that proper checks and balances are in place across the board. That is why we are not allowed to rely on documents received from other parties. We must collect everything ourselves from our buyers and sellers, so please bear with us. Then there are also risk assessments that we as property practitioners need to do. We are required to conduct a risk-based approach when working with our clients. This means that we must assess the risk of potential money laundering or financing of terrorism in every single transaction. Factors that we will consider include whether the client is a politically exposed person, we refer to that as a PEP, also whether the transaction looks suspicious at all in any manner, or whether there are any reasonable grounds to suspect that a client could be involved in illegal activities. For example, if there are unusually large cash payments being made or transactions that look like they do not make commercial sense in any way. We are also required to report any transactions that involve cash payments above a certain threshold. Something you quite possibly did not know is that in terms of the FICA Act, we are also required to check our clients against certain terrorist and sanctions lists. This is part of what's known as enhanced due diligence, or we refer to it as customer due diligence. And it's actually a key component of FICA compliance. This ensures that no property transaction involves individuals or funds that have been previously linked to illegal activities. So this is something we do by subscribing to certain providers that have access to all those required lists. If a client is flagged, we must report it to the Financial Intelligence Center. So in a nutshell, remember, this was just a brief overview and was not intended to be a comprehensive FICA guide. So please refer to the Complete Financial Intelligence Center Act if you are ever in doubt about anything. So, FICA compliance may seem like unnecessary and irritating extra paperwork, but it's actually designed to help protect you and me, our property market, and our whole country. So please bear with us when it comes to FICA. We'll always do our best to make the process as smooth as possible. And here's another tip. To make your own life easier, it's actually a good idea to always have your FICA documents on hand and easily available, as they are often required these days in various situations, not just property transactions. I hope you found this information helpful. Please feel free to reach out to us for further assistance or with any additional questions that you may have. If we cannot answer them, we will definitely direct you to someone who can. Also, to stay updated in future, please like and subscribe to all our channels on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course TikTok. You can also visit our website www.propla.co.za, which features a frequently asked questions section that answers many property related questions. If you need any advice, please get in touch. We'd love to chat with you. Or if you are considering selling your property, let us discuss a customized marketing plan tailored to your specific needs. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and God bless.